aftermath of such an incident, possible loss of life and damage to the environment should be a source of immediate concerns to the MOCs in the region. Although MOCs in the IOR cooperate both regionally and internationally, the level of cooperation is not optimal despite the means available. But the premise here is simple. No maritime nation in the world, as already mentioned by most, would want disruption of sea routes. Equally, safety at sea is a great global common, just like the sea itself. As you can see in the picture, here a Pakistan Navy ship crew is rescuing 11 Indian fishermen out at sea on a dhow in distress. Any one of us, and each one of us who has been in harm's way, would relate to the ferocious potential of the forces of the elements when treading the oceans. Obviously, there should be no disagreement on the basic tenet of keeping the oceans secure and safe for use by all. Cooperation, which may be done amongst MOCs in focal areas, is as flashed. Various linkages exist between respective MOCs. They may range from a common operating picture at the highest level to virtual linkages to a common chat. Now coming over to Pakistan's contribution to this. The Pakistan Navy has been on the forefront of every major maritime security initiative in the Arabian Sea for several reasons. Our enduring commitment to regional security, our obligation to local maritime communities, including our own and those from brotherly regional countries, and lastly, because of our ownership of the Arabian Sea by way of our own exclusive economic zone in it and our historical presence there. I will now highlight salient contributions of Pakistan in general and the Pakistan Navy in particular towards safety and security in the Indian Ocean. Under the ambit of the US-led Coalition Maritime Campaign Plan, Pakistan Navy is one of the founding members of Task Forces 150 and 151, having commanded both 11 and 8 times respectively and deployed more than 100 times its frontline ships along with organic helos and LRMPs in the past 15 years, which is probably one of the largest contributions to this coalition. In addition, the Pakistan Navy, in response to the evolving regional environment, has recently instituted its own regional maritime security patrols in the IOR, and those are in line with UN resolutions and UNCLOS. With these patrols, Pakistan Navy aims to maintain a robust security posture in critical areas and choke points in the IOR. The PN ships routinely interact with the regional navies and contribute towards their situational awareness and pattern of life analysis, besides providing assistance to the local maritime communities, ranging from Indian fishermen and dhow crew to Iranian, to Omani, to Yemeni and Somali mariners in distress. Alongside the Navy, the Pakistan Maritime Security Agency, PMSA, is one of the largest setups to enforce national and international laws in the region, agreements and conventions in Pakistan's exclusive economic zone and extended continental shelf. Its contribution to date are as flashed. Being coordinator of NAV Area 9, comprising 16 countries, including those in the Middle East, Pakistan is responsible for transmitting maritime safety information such as navigational warnings, weekly and annual summary of notices to mariners, and weather forecasts. NAV warnings issued during the last 3 years are as shown. Pakistan has contributed significantly towards safe navigation at sea through a metric survey from Pakistani coast to 200 miles offshore in order to improve mapping in the areas as designated by the International Hydrographic Organization. And besides paper charts, we are producing ENCs now as well. Coming over to JMICC, the Pakistan Navy took a giant leap in setting up the Joint Maritime Information Coordination Center in 2012. Seamless integration of all concerned national and regional stakeholders aims to enhance MDA for the country and the region. It may be noted that in collaboration with JMICC, PMSA has launched AAS, meaning Hope in Urdu, an Android app to facilitate fishermen operating in Pakistan's territorial waters in seeking assistance when in distress. So far, JMICC has coordinated for response for a total of 457 COIs in various domains as flashed. Now, cooperation amongst regional and international maritime operation centers. While aiming for better interconnectivity in the IOR, some of the important MOCs that should be in focus are as flashed. These MOCs generally share their products with the shipping industry, which include various reports, special incident reports, and vulnerable shipping lists. JMICC also actively shares information with some of the partners mentioned in green on the slide and is pursuing cases for integration with those marked in blue, including KSA and Oman. Recently, Pakistan Navy has joined a 32-member trans-regional maritime network based in Italy, which facilitates exchange of maritime information amongst the participating nations. Now coming over to our analysis and way forward. First, safety and security of shipping. The shipping industry is responsible for maintaining the lifeline of the world's trade, and its safety and security is of prime importance to the maritime forces. Regional and extra-regional forces in the IOR are assisting the merchant community in areas such as piracy and attacks on shipping, as you can see in this slide. A Pakistan Navy ship, an Australian Navy ship, and a US tanker are conducting fueling at sea. A paradigm shift was witnessed in terms of resolving identity issues at sea with the advent of the AIS at the turn of the century, with necessary amendments in the 1974 SOLAS Convention. Together with LRIT and IMO database, it has significantly improved visibility of merchant traffic at sea. Notwithstanding, practical limitations at times necessitate physical intervention by maritime security forces and high level of coordination by the respective MOCs. Now, coming over to the second point, safety and security issues with local maritime activity, which is closer to my heart and also the focal point of this presentation. The littoral environment in the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal and their subsidiaries can be characterized with low-end tech support and high latency. Local vessel monitoring systems were in place do not allow for universal access, while vessels below 300 tons are not obligated to install AIS. Local marine fleets, mostly comprising small fishing and cargo dhows, are ill-equipped in terms of communication, safety gear, and vessel monitoring services. The low-tech connectivity gives rise to high latency in terms of response to natural disasters and SOLAS incidents. In contrast, for modern fishing communities such as those in the West, the mere pressing of a panic button on a transponder-based system guarantees swift assistance. Secondly, the maritime infrastructure of coastal fishing villages is often grossly underdeveloped. Poverty paves way for crime and is evident by the fact that illegal activities such as piracy, drug and arms trafficking, smuggling and humans and contrabands, etc., are almost entirely undertaken through improvised fishing and cargo dhows. Thirdly, by sheer hard luck, the local fishermen happen to operate in arguably the most politically volatile part of the world. The littoral communities of the Arabian Sea saw a sudden influx of extra-regional naval presence here following 9/11. In the formative years of CMCP deployments, the rate of boarding of small craft was excessive, and this comes from my personal experience of at least a dozen CMCP deployments in the area since 2005, 4 and 5. Gradually, more focus was accorded to counter piracy, and the burden on the local marine communities that considerably eased. Standard of life in local maritime communities should be raised through socio-economic uplift and provision of state-of-the-art marine services by governments, IGOs, and NGOs. In the least, they should not be excessively probed and boarded and bothered, unless strong cumulative evidence is provided. Also, minimum communication standards on board vessels, including suitable VMS means and conformance to minimum SOLAS-related technical standards, which are those of construction, equipment, and operation for small dhows, should be undertaken across the board in all regional countries. Incidental outcome of these measures will be prevention of loss of precious lives and property, and savings from reduced SAR hours and reduction of crime at sea, which is by no means a small dividend. Now, finally, we come to equipping the MOCs, which is the subject matter, for better information sharing and raised situational awareness. In the maritime domain is underpinned by technological advances and political cohesiveness. I give you an example of Europe. Being a technologically advanced region is also a tightly knit political entity under the auspices of the EU. Likewise, the local maritime traffic is well equipped and well connected. The EU has introduced a voluntary collaborative process called common information sharing environment amongst various national maritime surveillance authorities. Also, METOC centers in the West are properly equipped and suitably interconnected to aid in maritime decision-making and alerting mariners. The Indian Ocean is long ways from such an arrangement precisely because of lack of technological support and less than optimal regional cooperation. Lack of political cohesiveness is also a contributing factor. But all else considered, the prevalent low-tech connectivity belies the means available. However, initiatives like those taken by the JMICC in Pakistan and the GCC's Unified Maritime Operations Centers are steps in the right direction. As regards efforts for increased situational awareness, the situational picture should be shared through appropriate protocols, eventually leading to a CISC-like arrangement, like the speaker before me mentioned, is just a small percentage of classified information that you have to hold back. Also, a forum like Mercury Chat, which is successfully used by various diverse counter-piracy forces and being well within the available means, would be worthwhile to explore. Since the Indian Ocean region is being increasingly affected by cyclones, especially in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea because of certain climate phenomena, there's a need for development of state-of-the-art METOC centers and their interconnectivity. The IMO, I believe, can play its role in ensuring the same. As maritime situational awareness comprises both static databases and kinetic information, it is imperative that relevant elements of both are shared to improve situational awareness in the region. The IMO should play a greater role in equipping the regional MOCs and helping to improve connectivity. IMO-sponsored Marine Electronic Highway Initiative for the Malacca Strait, integrating maritime safety with environmental protection and management technologies, needs to be expanded to other littoral areas, especially the Arabian Sea. Using a geospatial reference grid like ENCs and ACTUS to overlay real-time precision navigation information and environmental alerts can immensely enhance safety for both large and small vessels through increased situational awareness. In closing, it is reiterated that better information sharing also requires the willingness of the regional countries to work around political differences in order to create synergy for the common goal of safety and security at sea. Moreover, it must be ensured that the regional MOCs are in the lead rather than the extra-regional ones, as is the case elsewhere in the world. With this, I thank you all for your empathic listening and look forward to enriching my understanding of the subject matter during the discussion session.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. السيدات والسادة الحضور، نرحب بكم في المؤتمر الصحفي للبيان الختامي للملتقى البحري السعودي الدولي الأول لعام 2019 سم 2019. أكد قادة القوات البحرية وحرس الحدود والجهات المعنية في البيئة البحرية على النقاط التالية: تعزيز التعاون والتكامل بين مراكز العمليات للقوات البحرية وحرس الحدود في المنطقة، العمل على تأمين حرية حركة الملاحة البحرية الدولية والعمل على تبادل المعلومات بين الجهات المعنية لتساهم بذلك، تعزيز الأمن البحري في الممرات البحرية الاستراتيجية وحماية خطوط الملاحة، العمل على توحيد الجهود لمجابهة الأعمال الغير مشروعة. وشكرا للجميع على الاهتمام والحضور ونقل فعاليات الملتقى البحري السعودي الدولي، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
To be here today speaking with you all, and I'm very grateful to Vice Admiral Gofeli for hosting us today. It is great to see my GCC leadership brothers here at the front row, and my teacher, Admiral Mullah. Good to see you, sir. The briefings this morning, I think, were instrumental in what we're talking about. Captain Ignacio talking about cooperation at sea, Commodore Rafiq talking about information exchange and ops centers and the criticality of those, and then Captain Al-Juhani talking about border security, infrastructure protection, and the criticality of that to the maritime. I also feel very privileged for the opportunity to address the important theme of international cooperation as we close out this impactful event. I've been updated by my Deputy Commander Kurt Renshaw, who reports that vital and fruitful discussions have taken place over the past 2 days, especially regarding the unique challenges we face, and more importantly, the opportunities we collectively see as we look forward into the future of this region. The growing importance of key waterways in the Middle East to global trade is undeniable. Captain Ignacio pointed that out to us this morning. We must work together and take every action to ensure their protection, as you heard from my deputy 2 days ago. You've also heard about the many threats that loom before us, both from state and non-state actors. From UAVs in the Red Sea to the danger of mines in the Gulf of Oman, to illegal boarding and vessel seizures in the international waters. These threats are concerning to all who navigate waterways and choke points in this region. As I said in the panel at Manama Dialogue on Gray Zone just earlier this week, we have all seen that firsthand in this region over the last 6 months, attacks on shipping by state actors who operate clandestinely, hide in ambiguity, and obfuscate their complicity by public denials. Against this troubling and rapidly evolving backdrop, our challenges are daunting. The seas we patrol are vast, virtually impossible for any one nation, regional or otherwise, to effectively protect. That responsibility falls to all of us collectively. More on that in a minute, but how do we in the United States Navy fit in? The United States maintains long-standing and critical security partnerships across the Middle East. We remain as committed as ever in ensuring security and stability in this region, and for my part, in the maritime. The various waterways are major transit routes and are lifelines for regional and international economies. Freedom of navigation and the free flow of commerce remain bedrock international principles that underpin that global economy. Following the attacks on shipping in May, insurance rates for oil tankers increased substantially. Those costs are passed on to everyone, regardless of where they are in the world. These effects are felt internationally, and therefore the response must be international as well, signaling solidarity and resolve by all stakeholders, both in this region and from across the globe. This global response we feel is required does not happen overnight. The foundation for an international effort is forged over years of training and operating together, as we did recently in the International Maritime Exercise, IMX 19, where 47 nations gathered in this region to hone their skills in maritime security operations, sharing perspectives, best practices, and synchronizing efforts to build capacity that could be called upon in the future. The maritime presents unique challenges and opportunities. We must be prepared for both, in concert with our friends and allies. It is my belief that there are several lines of effort, or pillars, that are key to both meeting the challenges and seizing those opportunities. First, we must be transparent and grounded in an international rules-based order. As we heard from one of our NAVCENT judge advocates lawyers earlier this week, defenders of international law on the sea inherently act under the protection of United Nations Convention for the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS. Second, in a world where those who would impede freedom of the seas hide in the darkness of ambiguity, we employ transparency and open communication to expose anyone who operates in contempt of these universally accepted laws. We will continue to support and, if necessary, enforce customary international law and the right of innocent passage, not as a preamble to conflict, but because it promotes legitimate activity, assures the region and the world merchant community, and because it's the right thing to do. Next, as a natural progression, we recognize the actions that are not in keeping with support of a rules-based order or free flow of commerce. As we have seen in the last 6 months, aggression, provocation, and intimidation reside in an adversary's playbook. Against this threat, what we seek is credible deterrence, defensive and de-escalatory in nature. As we shine the light on nefarious, illegal, and destabilizing activity, we provide that viable deterrent, risk exposure, and international condemnation. While always ready to defend, we maintain that transparency I spoke of in collaborative planning, coordinated action, and benign motive, avoiding miscalculation and not seeking conflict. Instead, we ensure stability, safety, and security in the global commons. Last, to support this approach, we build coalitions. Our partners in those partnerships are our greatest advantage as we maximize unique perspectives and the valued contributions of all like-minded, law-abiding partners who share a view of the challenges, threats, and opportunities. Our approach to coalition operations is time-honored and remains valid. It is built on trust and enabled by information. By communicating using interoperable rapid information sharing systems, we ensure that our ships, aircraft, and other defensive systems are able to link with our headquarters and with each other. This advantage provides our commanders at sea with depth and our leadership ashore with a common picture to make collaborative and informed decisions, provide direction, and operate together efficiently and effectively, essentially outpacing the adversary. This partnership requires more than half-hearted commitment and sustained focus of effort, the allocation of resources by all. This is not without precedent. Commodore Dean Bassett spoke to you yesterday about the combined maritime forces, and I propose that CMF is proof that this kind of partnership works. Since 2001, CMF has demonstrated the viability, adaptability, flexibility, and enduring relevance of the world's best regional, multinational maritime construct. Now led almost exclusively by regional and other non-U.S. partners, CMF has evolved and expanded over the years, tailored the maritime security mission to the threats while growing in scope and capability. I think more importantly, CMF connects generations of professional naval and Coast Guard officers from across the globe, giving the future leaders of our navies a glimpse of and a template for coalition effectiveness, while successfully detecting and combating threats to legitimate maritime commerce. I also know that you have discussed the International Maritime Security Construct, or Sentinel. As you know, IMSC is distinct from CMF, with a different mission and in response to a different threat and source. That said, the best practices and established watchstanding and organizational procedures and products that have been the hallmark of CMF, the world's premier maritime coalition partner network, are already being mimicked and replicated under IMSC. So looking forward, I have no doubt that IMSC will continue to draw on those lessons learned and employ those skilled officers who first operated within CMF. Just as CMF has successfully combated the criminal activities of non-state actors for almost 20 years, my hope and our plan is that IMSC proves just as robust, effective, and efficient in its mission, successfully addressing a more specific but growing state-sponsored threat to regional maritime stability. I would offer that the key to the success of both CMF and IMSC is an inclusive approach with a flexible and scalable construct. All navies participate to the extent that they are willing, bringing unique strengths to the maritime security operations as they can. Collaboratively employed, navies are tasked for missions only within their acceptable set and capabilities. We welcome them all. Whether it be surface ships, ISR, or intelligence sharing, every nation has a vested interest in protecting the free and unhindered flow of commerce. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to meet and speak with you today, and I'm honored as always to return to the kingdom and join my brother, Admiral Gofeli, in closing out this important symposium. I offer a special thanks to those of you who have partnered with the kingdom in the defense of maritime security, and I look forward to the opportunity to work with you even more in any capacity in the future. Thank you very much.
الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد عليه أفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم. معالي الفريق جملوي، أصحاب المعالي، السيدة والسادة، ضيوف الملتقى البحري السعودي الدولي الأول، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. نختم اليوم فعالية الملتقى البحري السعودي الدولي الأول والمعرض المصاحب له الذي استضافته القوات البحرية الملكية السعودية، والذي استمر على مدى 3 أيام الماضية خلال الفترة من 27 إلى 29 ربيع الأول الموافق 24 إلى 26 نوفمبر 2016. قدم الملتقى 5 محاور شاملة. العنوان الرئيسي أهمية تأمين الممرات البحرية الاستراتيجية، ومشاركة نخبة من أصحاب العلم والخبرة، حيث تنوعت المواضيع بتنوع المحاور، وتميزت المحاور بوجهات النظر القادة واستنتاجاتها. لقد تم خلال هذا المؤتمر طرح التحديات والتهديدات بأنواعها التي تهدد الممرات البحرية الاستراتيجية، وتبادل وجهات النظر حول الحلول المناسبة للقضاء عليها أو التقليل منها، وتعزيز الأمن البحري الذي أصبح ضرورة القصوى في ظل التحديات التي تتطور يوما بعد يوم. السيدات والسادة، لا يسعني في هذا المقام إلا أن أتقدم بالشكر الجزيل للقادة ونواب القادة وقادة حرس الحدود لجميع الدول التي ساهمت واستجابت لهذا الملتقى، والجهات العلاقة بالبيئة البحرية على المستوى الوطني على حضورهم واهتمامهم بهذا الملتقى. كما أتقدم بالشكر للمتحدثين الذين شاركوا من المديرية العامة لحرس الحدود، من دولة الكويت الشقيقة، والمؤسسة الوطنية دراسات جنوب بحر الصين، وجامعة الملك عبد العزيز كلية الدراسات البحرية، والأسطول الخامس، والقوات البحرية المختلطة، والقوات البحرية الملكية البريطانية، والقوات البحرية الاتحاد الأوروبي، والمركز الدولي للدراسات الاستراتيجية، والبحرية الباكستانية، وهيئة الموانئ، والبحرية الأسبانية، والهيئة العامة للمساحة، وشركة أرامكو السعودية، وكافة الخبراء الذين شاركوا في تقديم مواضيع المحاور في الملتقى البحري الدولي بفاعلية، وأثروا الملتقى بآرائهم ومناقشاتهم. أتقدم بشكر جزيل للشركات الراعية في المعرض المصاحب على ما قدموا من عرض ومن عالية في مجال الأمن البحري. كما أتقدم بالاعتذار إذا هناك أي تقصير في تجهيزات أو في الإقامة، فنعتذر منكم، ونعدكم بحول الله في الملتقى السعودي البحري الدولي الثاني أن تكون إن شاء الله أفضل من هذا الملتقى. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.